we have to adapt to it.
He just said he thought about it a long time, but you didn't have real discussions over the year. Do you think it's a pity that he didn't take it into account with the team? Because now you have a big problem, you cannot solve it anymore.
No, yeah, of course, it would have been better if he would have told us, whatever, September or something like that. But yeah, again, we can dwell on that for a very long time. It is what it is. He told over the Christmas period, we had a discussion, or not a discussion. There was a good talk, and it was a clear message. So
you didn't try to change his mind or anything?
no, if somebody calls you and say, I want to retire, what are you going to say? Don't do it. It doesn't work. No, again, he will have thought about it, and he did, of course. And we know him also as someone who thinks a lot about things, and then come with a good idea, his own idea. So yeah, I knew when he called me that I knew enough.
I think it was last year in this presentation that you said like it's a good thing for cycling that there are more multinationals stepping into the team. We found teams who are also increasing their budget. I was wondering, does it get more challenging for you to get the signings that you want when you're on the market? Huh?
Yeah, I think we are already a couple of years, we're sitting at the same spot in the budget ranking as we are already for a couple of years. So I'm happy we have a good scouting system, people who are getting riders on board. Hopefully next year we will discuss the way the new riders performed at that point in time, and that's what we do already for a couple of years. Also Simon Yates, for example, is someone who came in at us, for us in a good way, and then he performed like this, and he wins it right away, and that's what I think our way of working is already for a couple of years. Like Jonas said a couple of years ago, nobody knew Jonas, and then suddenly he was second in the group.
Yeah. I was just wondering, you're looking at, for example, a team like Little Trick, who are paying out money for Yusu, and they're also paying out some money for their team to get into the team. Are you looking at that kind of money and scared like, wow, can we keep up with what's happening right now in cycling?
Of course, you have to try to keep up, and I always say we have to be at shooting range. But again, I believe that we are good enough in our way of working that we can keep up with them in a different way. Because we are not the team that brings in a very expensive rider from another team. But we wanna develop riders and try to get them better, and the people you don't know, we do not know yet as a big star. Hopefully they can become a big star.
Because the salary levels are rising and people are paying more. Are you looking at your own stars and like, wow, can I keep them satisfied?
Of course,
that's some years.
but that's why we need to keep up with some of these big budget teams. We have to at least at shooting range of it. So staying number 5, number 6 in the budget ranking is something we have to do, indeed, and rather being 4 or 3rd. But yeah, it's a lot of work. Yeah.
Richard, in what way is it worrying that someone who let a top rider quit the team before, and Yates, also, they were big stars in cycling. In what way is it worrying that big stars are getting so much pressure on them, and with everything comes to being a competitive rider, gets sort of pressure and maybe burning out, like Jonas also said to us, I was at a moment, at a point of almost burning out.
Yeah, I don't know if that's something we have a lot of attention for. For example, you mentioned Tom Dumoulin. We gave him also the opportunity to go to what he really liked, to go to a high altitude camp in Colombia. So we tried to we were the first, I think, who brought in families to high altitude camps. They're away from home 7 weeks or 8 weeks, and we brought home to the high altitude camps. So we try to have an eye for that, and I think that it works out. But I think also that the different names you mention are completely different cases. You know, Simon Yates, he just wanted to retire. You know, it has nothing to do with whatever. And also Fem is a different case than Tom Newman was. So.
Yeah, but he retires because he is feeling that this kind of life he can do forever.
Yeah, but there are so many riders who can do this and enjoy it. And you know, if you still enjoy it, why would you stop? You know, so people who are enjoying it, I mean, there's other riders who are enjoying it still, and you know, go to all kinds of camps and etc.
Richard, on that, when you're all journalists here who've spoken to riders post-retirement, and they often complain about there's no support post-retirement, teams don't reach out to them. Is that becoming something teams more aware of, and that you have to keep on speaking to these riders when they retire and helping them find jobs, or just, are you okay? Like, is that something that's becoming more and more necessary?
Yeah, is it? I don't know. We 10 years ago already we discussed a bit this with riders. Can we help you? And some then want to become a sports director. Well, that's an opportunity. Jos van Emden has become a sports director with us. But we don't have spots for everyone. And people also want to do something completely different. And want to find their own way. You know, it's like when you stop being a journalist. Yeah, what are you going to do? Who is going to take care of you? You just want to stop what you're doing at that moment. And I think it's especially to the managers of the riders to help them with that and think about what can you do after your career, and are you ready and prepared for life after your career? I don't think it's something for us, for the teams, but it's something for the managers.
This became a more demanding job, being a cyclist nowadays, compared to 5 years ago.
I don't think so. I think top sport is demanding. If you're a cyclist, a swimmer, you have to have a coach from swimming, and they also have a lot of pressure. Football players, I recommend the documentary of Beckham. I just saw it. That's a lot of pressure, you know. And so I think yes, there's a lot of pressure, but it's also the way you cope with it. And I think it's in general, not only for cyclists or football players or whatever, but I think the pressure on people with all the social media and everyone having an opinion about you is something in general which is more demanding for the younger people at the moment. So it's not particularly for cyclists, but in general.
I was just wondering, sorry, the MPCC in December released a statement saying that they think there is an issue with the phrasing was over-medication in cycling, talk about painkillers and the use of Finnish bombs or finances. Do you agree with that? Do you think that there is an issue with painkillers? Because it was a very rough statement.
Yeah, but not with us.
You don't use, they're speaking about something called Tapentol, which is not something I've heard about, but nothing you heard about.
No, but yeah, no.
So you don't agree with that issue?
No.
Or, no.
Not at all.
How big is the gap with Team UAE on the classics and the tours?
I hope very small. And I think very small. I think we can, with our way of working, still be a good competitor for everyone. So also for you.
Richard, in the press release we got, you stated that there have been some innovations in the management. Can you tell us something about it?
No.
Why not?
No, you will see during the year. We are always looking into innovations. We were the first who worked on kind of Moneyball system with getting riders to the team. We were the first who started with Food Coach, and so on and so further. Control room, and yeah, you can imagine which area the next innovation will be, but we are working on that with some partners to see where we can make the next step in innovation, and hopefully somewhere in September we can discuss about it and see what we brought to cycling again. But that we always want to become better every day. So we're always looking at how can we be better than the competition, also to close gaps if there are any gaps, because we want to do it smarter than others, and that's what we're looking at.
You were just saying about the budget, you want to be in shooting range. Does that mean that the budget has to increase in the next
100%.
several years?
I think it's that counts for everyone in cycling, in sports, but also in cycling.
What kind of possibilities are you exploring then to increase that budget? More sponsors, or what are you going to do? How are you
Yeah,
gonna do
more
that?
sponsors, better business model for cycling, more merchandise sales, more other income, streams of income. Food coach is now taking off as a business, and it's adding to the team as well. So in that sense.
Coach, yeah.
Can you ask more money at Visma when they are going now to the stock market?
That's discussions we are always with our sponsors busy. How can we grow and increase the budget, and that we can keep up, like I said, at least at shooting range of the top. And that's because we have to keep up.
Yeah. But if you look to the team, Richard, you lose Simon, you lose Tish, you lose Olaf, you lose Dylan. That are four really important riders for the next years in the team.
Yeah, like I said, we wanted to change it. We wanted to refresh the team a bit, and it was unfortunate that Olaf and Tish were leaving the team and had a good opportunity to go to Decathlon. But on all the others, we wanted to change, and we wanted to have a new, let's say the new, which becomes already with Louis by way. We wanted to have this next wave of in the team.
9 riders was necessary.
No, ultimately because of Olaf and Tish, we needed to have 2 more extra than we expected to find.
Will you bring another rider in to replace something?
No, I don't at the moment. No, because everyone just started. There's not many riders on the market, especially not of the level of Simon Yates. It's really difficult at this moment to find someone. So we said we do it with what we have, and which is a very good group. And it's now up to the new guys to step up their game a little bit earlier maybe than expected.
You said we wanted to change, but why did you want to change?
Because we needed to refresh and have a new level into the team. So we wanted to have better, the future better riders already.
So Dylan did an interview after the news weeks them now and saying that he wants to take a bit more the control back as to how he lived as a rider. He didn't have the same control at your team. Was that something that you discussed when he was here, that, or maybe not totally different? So that's something we talked about at all?
You talked about the Dutch culture of the team before, and it's not that is not that important anymore. But how painful is it then to lose one of the few top Dutch riders who are still in development of Olaf? How important is it for a team like yours to have some top Dutch riders?
Yeah, well, with Rabobank, we want to find the new Dutch riders. I'm Dutch. I'd like to see better Dutch riders coming into cycling, but also, of course, in our team. And Olaf is a big load, but he gets a good chance and a big chance at Decathlon, and then it's also difficult to keep someone like that, or impossible. But I'd like to see the next Olof Kooi coming, but it's not yet possible at this moment because we like development of young riders in Holland, and of course there are some, but not enough, and that's where my big worry is, and that's why we started with the big bond races, ready to race. We started working with Rabobank to find young riders and develop them, cycling class and etc. Because I rather have. First of all, we want to win races with whatever nationality, and then we have also. I'm Dutch. We are Dutch, and we like to have Dutch people, Dutch riders. So, but we need to develop them ourselves, and there's a big task for the Dutch Federation, I think, to find the grassroots or the young people to start cycling.
Because this is really a bad thing, if you go to the under 23, 15 riders and no Dutch riders.
Yeah, and it is really difficult, and I think it's. I had a meeting 6 weeks ago or something with the federation, and I think there's a big task for them, and we'd like to help them, but they have to focus on how can we get young riders on the bike, both girls and boys.
But is it then not strange that a like Tibor can also even fully talk with your team? That over the road says he doesn't want to talk with him at that point.
I don't know.
That's what Tibor is saying.
Okay, that's a couple of years ago. Yeah, and of course we miss sometimes someone, and he finds another place. But also we try to find. We have also Dutch young riders in our team, like Graaf, for example. But we have to develop them. But there are not enough of them. We talk about Tibor, but who else is there? Who else is there? How many others are there? It's not so many. And that's worrying, and that's where I think it's for the Dutch Federation. There's a big task, and you have to focus on the under 18 to get them first on the bike. Let's start biking, and if they are on the bike, give them a good future in the Netherlands. Of course, this is a Dutch topic, but I think it worries me a lot.
This is also an announcement of Rabobank is coming back at your team. How responsible is for you?
Yeah, and that's why we do it together. But mostly it's the federation who needs to work with all the clubs. If we have to do that also, I'd like to do it, but then I should take over the federation, and I don't know if that's the idea.
Do you think the Dutch situation is very different from other European countries? Of course, Belgium is another thing because everything is possible in Belgium, but in France. Well, in cycling terms, right?
And at the newspaper.
I don't know. I don't have a vision on other countries. I only focus in that sense on Holland, and in Holland it's not okay. So the grassroots and etc. That's why we started, to do with it. With Rabobank, with Ready to Race, etc. That's why we started it.
Yeah.
If you look in Norway, because Visma in Norway there's so much talent and so many less riders.
Yeah.
Can you learn from that?
Yeah. The sports environment in Norway is way better than it is in Holland. In the 15-year, 16-year-old ages. So it's about skiing, it's about running, it's not only about cycling. You can also change. See Jorgen Norda. You can also change from skiing to cycling on a later age. But the sports environment is way better.
So I was wondering, you spoke to I'm sorry.
I just wanted to ask you about the business model, because you referred that expression before, and regarding the business model of cycling, this is not a new debate. This has been an endless debate without consequences, practical consequences. The sport doesn't seem to change its core of business, but it's true that bigger sponsors have been coming to cycling. in your opinion, what needs to be done to change, to finally achieve a practical solution that can guarantee cycling in 20 or 50 years? Because we seem to be losing teams every year, and it's true that the bigger teams are getting bigger, but if we look to the less bigger teams, they seem to struggle even more than before.
Yeah, I think my opinion is well known, and I think it's not only teams, it's also organizers, and I think, yeah, maybe UCI should look into a better business model for everyone in cycling, not only teams, but also organizers. But maybe it's better that we sit aside, apart and one-on-one and discuss this, because I think the rest knows pretty well what my
No,
opinion is.
I know your position as well, but I was getting into this topic just because I spoke with Richard Scheidecker the other day from Tutor, and he told me a sentence that got me thinking. He said that stakeholders seem to be a bit apart, if not very distant. Each position is very distant from their counterparts, and in this sense, it doesn't seem very logical right now that the money currently into cycling is getting redistributed. It's already distributed the way it is and the way it's always been, and we all know where the power is. So having this in mind, and since you mentioned the business model, is there something practical that we can do to change things, or is this going to?
Of course, but it's up to the UCI to change the business model. Yeah, maybe to the example of the Formula One or the MotoGP, or there's so many examples which are better than we have in cycling. But again, let's sit aside and.
There's one point about that. In the Netherlands, we see that the Netherlands is doing less races.
Yeah.
We see more and more races are coming behind the corner. How is that? Your team needs publicity. Your sponsors need publicity.
Yeah.
How do you look to this evolution?
Yeah, I think it's a bad evolution. It's a bad sign, and we should really think about it and how can we make it more attractive. But the key question is, how can we make cycling more attractive so that fans are willing to pay if it's behind the decoder, or that NOS wants to broadcast it. That's, you need to make sure that cycling stays one of the top 5 sports in the world. That's the whole issue. And now apparently we are losing eyeballs to other sports. It's not. We are fighting with each other in cycling while we should fight with football and other sports. That's how I look at it.
We should just.
Let's wrap it up with one final question. On there for everyone.
Well, on that then,
Sorry?
inside, just similar to that, I know it's now the team owners and the billionaires who are getting together and creating the latest reform plan. Why does this stand a better chance than one cycling or previous plans? Why does the new reform have a better chance of success than the previous attempts at a reform?
I think for everyone, we're in a downward spiral as cycling, if you like it or not, and I think that's why. Because for everyone, the urgency becomes bigger and bigger every day. Not only for teams, but also, to your point, also a lot of relatively big teams are getting in trouble, but also organizers getting in trouble. So you have to make sure that cycling makes a big change.
Does everyone see that urgency? Do you see how the organisers today?
There's many, more and more people see that. Yeah. Fortunately.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.